You're watching Moms Matter right here at EverTalk TV. And in the studio with me today, I have Ping Ho and Erica Curtis, who have written and co-authored together The Amazing Innovative Parent. It has rave reviews from Harvey Karp and Daniel Siegel, and they're right here to tell us their magical little ways of how we can raise connected, happy children through art. Welcome to the studio.
You. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks for having us.
Well, I'm just so excited because I have never delved into anything like this before. We've talked about emotional intelligence and how to raise happy children, but how do we raise happy, connected children through art?
Yeah. So the whole premise of the book is that talking can only get us so far. It's pretty limited, actually. I'm sure you have kids of your own, of course. Yes. And especially when they're in the throes of either a tantrum or just really big emotions, it's really hard for anybody, really, even adults, to connect with our words and be able to express what's going on, right? I think we've all had that experience before. So especially with children, when they're just really starting to learn what's going on inside of them and what emotions are and why am I acting like this, and we approach our kids and expect them to be able to talk about what's going on, we're really not meeting them where they're at. So that's where the art comes in.
And the reason why art is so important is because when kids are upset, what's going on in their brain is that the brain goes into evolutionary survival mode, is trying to protect them from threat. And it interferes with decision-making, problem-solving, focus, social behavior, and speech. So talking is not the best way always to address a problem that a child is having. And so these art strategies and techniques provide ways to communicate non-verbally when words aren't working.
So sorry, I cut you off, but I would love to know an example of a way that you would, my kids are older, so I'm not sure, is this something that you could use with kids as young as 3 and as old as 16?
Absolutely, yeah. The earliest example I think we give in the book is a 2-year-old. It was my daughter who was having a hard time brushing her teeth, actually.
I've been there.
So I'd say about as young as 2 and absolutely up through adolescence. Ping actually called me the other week and she had a funny story.
My husband and I used one of the tools that you're going to actually experience today. We're actually going to demonstrate it.
Yeah, he used it with her when they were in a conflict together.
And it worked great. I felt his empathy and I chuckled because it was so delightful. So it was, words aren't working always for adults either.
Oh, not at all. Marriage and family therapist here. Bring it down. Tell us what's going on.
Exactly.
So this is great. So this can translate into our own relationships with our partners.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, but the point being is going to be with any age, really, and even with teenagers. And teenagers, if for no other reason than they're kind of thrown by what you're doing.
Right.
There's sort of this element of surprise, like, wait a minute, mom's sticking a piece of paper under the door right now. What's going on? Why is my mom doing this? And it kind of can jolt them out of their, their space that they're in, their headspace in that moment.
Oh my gosh.
And maybe frees them up, kind of free them up to do something different.
I mean, I have teenage girls, so I would love to know what you're talking about. What's the paper that I can put under that door and tell them that it's all good?
Can we do it?
Yeah, let's do it. I love it.
All right. So you can pretend like you're you can pretend like you're one of your teenage daughters right now.
All right.
Okay. Be nice to me though. Well, easy on me.
They're actually really nice. It's all good. But look, no matter how incredible your children are, everybody has moments.
Absolutely.
And knowing how to communicate without being an annoying mom or without, like you said, words are the last thing sometimes that can come out. So this is revolutionary.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. That's right. Okay. So we're going to do it here. So let's pretend your daughter might go in her room and close the door or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I might, for example, take a piece of paper and draw a circle, and maybe I'm feeling a little concerned about what's going on, and I might write a little word bubble here.
So you're writing your emotions as a mom on this paper?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right now. So I'll give my hair. There's my hair.
Okay.
And I want to say, too, you do not need any artistic talent to do this whatsoever.
Thank God.
Big figures, a little heart, it doesn't need to be masterful.
Perfect.
Okay?
That works for me. I love that. And your kids don't need any artistic talent either. So this is not about art for art's sake. This is more about art therapy.
Right.
Okay.
So I might, for example, and there's no right or wrong, but in this situation, I might say, you look sad, right? So I might just empathize if I know that she's sad and she's crying, but maybe I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm even going to add a question mark, and then I'm going to add another circle here.
Okay.
This is the invitation for her to express what's going on with her.
Okay.
I might add another bubble there, okay? And I might write me, And over here, I'm going to write you.
Oh, okay. So can we show this? So
Absolutely.
everyone who's watching, if you can see that, it's really simple. And then I guess you would just slide it under the door
That's right.
or
Just
hand it
slide
over
it
to
under
them.
the door with a
And-
pen. And so I'm going to just slip
Oh,
that under
and-
the door to you.
And I think she would write, like she's cracking up, and you are funny. That's exactly what I think she would write, because she would think I'm crazy.
That's right. So then she slips it back under the door,
Okay.
right? And then maybe I'm going to write another message back. Maybe I'm going to add some hearts, and I'm just going to say, I love you,
Aw.
right? And I'm going to slip it back under the door.
That's very sweet, because I love you would definitely make my daughter then make her feel better, and she would write, I love you too.
Right.
And maybe we would make peace.
And I might even offer, if we wanted to keep it going, we could, or we could stop there, but we might even then offer some nonverbal communication of peace.
I mean, I think that
to join the
that's
two back
actually,
together.
especially with teenagers or middle schoolers,
Yeah.
I think this is a really, I've never even, so simple. I would have
Yeah.
never thought of something
Yes.
like this, but
Yeah.
it just breaks the ice. It makes everyone say, okay, what am I upset about? What's going on?
That's right. That's right. And we're able to communicate with the imagery. You know, I'm sad, you're sad, I empathize with you, right?
Right.
Because if we go to the door and we knock and we say, hey, what's wrong? They're going to say, go away.
For sure, of course.
Leave me alone. Even if we come with, I love you, I'm sorry, I hate you, go away, right? So this really starts to kind of calm things down.
Right,
It doesn't
no.
put the pressure on them to have to talk.
100%, and that's huge. So, and I'm so grateful for you coming in today, because I swear I'm really going to use this. This is
Great, yeah.
So I have another question for you. What if you were at a place where you really did want them to express how they felt? Where you do something like this, you create peace, which is incredible,
Right.
because that could have turned into a blowout fight.
Right.
You've created peace, but is there a way or a technique you can use to get them to maybe express themselves rather than just say it's all good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this activity actually can serve multiple purposes, depending on, like, Erica has an example in the book about her son writing, I'm mad. Just to be able to say that actually relieves stress and begins the dialogue.
Right.
Because they usually are just like, I can't hear you, I'm not talking.
Right.
So the other thing is that because arts activities engage so much of the brain, that it almost literally crowds out room for stress. And that calms the brain enough to engage that rational part that can make decisions, solve problems, focus, engage socially, and again, talk about the problem. So this process actually does multiple things. It engages in nonverbal communication, and also it enables the verbal to come back online too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, another really quick little tip too is just simply if your child's upset or there's something that's repeating that you know is making them anxious, for example, maybe it's not even between you and your daughter or your son or whoever it
Right.
is, your child, but maybe you just know that they're anxious when school's starting, right? School just started back, and you notice maybe some acting out or so, right? Because kids aren't going to come to us and go, hey, mom, I'm really nervous that school is starting. No, they just kind of act out.
Right, sure.
Right. But we have that sense. We can have that sense, right? And so we can just simply invite them to draw about it, right? We can say like, hey, can you show me what it looks like when you're going back to school? Can you show me what it looks like when it's homework time? Or whatever we have a sense that they might be feeling anxious about, because that allows them to separate themselves from their emotions and to what we call objectify it. Now they can see it, right? And it can be a scribble, it could be an actual drawing of something, it could be an animal or a monster, or maybe it's not, right? But whatever they want it to be. So you can just simply invite them to say, hey, you know what? I noticed that you've been a little and I know school's starting. Why don't we draw a picture? And, and I'm going back to work and, I'm going to draw a picture about what that's like. Why don't you draw a picture of what it's like going back to school? And now they can start to, express those feelings and get a little space from it. And then you can talk about it, get curious, tell me about your picture, and I can put words to it.
I mean, it's really brilliant. I mean, everything you're saying is so true, because verbally, I think whether you're 2 or you're 12 or you're 17, it's really hard sometimes to get those words.
That's
but
right.
when you then have this,
Yes.
that's it. You've opened up this
That's
great way of emotionally connecting with your kids.
Yes.
And there's another dimension of the book too, which is we also give guidelines on using non-judgmental language in terms of helping kids talk about their art, to encourage them to share what's going on in their internal world. So it's a two-part thing. There's the drawing, and then there's how do you talk about the drawing. That's really key. Because we have a lot of tendencies to fall back on, oh, it's beautiful, or what is that?
Right, right.
Even positive judgments can be laden, can facilitate anxiety or expectations.
That's right. That's right. Well, and that's huge and so welcoming to hear as a parent, because that is something that none of us have the tools to. We just don't. We don't have the tools to say, oh, how do we break this down? And so I can't wait to dig deeper into this book. And I mean, amazing. I hope that your curriculum gets into schools, and I hope that people have a chance, because there are so many kids suffering with anxiety and depression, and this is such a simple way to get kids to open up and share their feelings.
Yes.
So I am so grateful to have met you and to have your book. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And mamas out there who are watching, pick up the book, share it with your friends, tell your schools about it. This really sounds like a great way of getting our kids to just chill out and share their feelings with us when they kind of feel lost. So hope to see you all next time right here at Focus TV.